Good day, and welcome to Hidden Source News, where we bring you all the news fit to print from all over. As always, please subscribe to the channel to help us grow and continue to provide more content. Today, we're diving into Nuremberg, the highly anticipated historical drama from writer-director James Vanderbilt that revisits the aftermath of World War II and the landmark trials that followed. This one's already generating buzz, star power, intense subject matter, and a premiere that left festival audiences talking. Here's everything we saw in this movie, without spoiling the film. At its core, Nuremberg focuses on the psychological and legal reckoning that followed the fall of Nazi Germany. The film centers on U.S. Army psychiatrist Lieutenant Colonel Douglas Kelley, played by Rami Malek, who is tasked with evaluating high-ranking Nazi prisoners to determine if they are mentally fit to stand trial. Across from him, on many of those evaluations, sits Hermann Göring, portrayed by Russell Crowe, a magnetic and dangerous figure whose charm masks horrific complicity. The film dramatizes the clash between Kelley's clinical investigation and Göring's forceful personality, while also showing the wider legal and moral stakes of the Nuremberg Trials. This is a James Vanderbilt project. He writes and directs. Vanderbilt has a background in both true crime and historical adaptation work, and he's said to have researched the material extensively. The screenplay is adapted from Jack L. High's nonfiction book The Nazi and the Psychiatrist, published in 2013. The lead performances are a major selling point. Rami Malek as Douglas Kelley, and Russell Crowe as Hermann Göring, with Michael Shannon playing the prosecution's chief figure, Robert H. Jackson. The supporting cast includes names like Richard E. Grant, Colin Hanks, John Slattery, and Leo Woodall. Cinematography is by Dariusz Wolski, and the score is by Brian Tyler, a production crew stacked to give the film a big, moody period look. From what I saw in early festival screenings, the film strikes a balance between courtroom drama, psychological duel, and historical document. Expect polished production design, the sets and uniforms are period accurate, and a cinematographic style that favors close encounters and guided tension during interviews and courtroom sequences. The film also integrates archival material and harrowing footage to remind viewers of the real atrocities at the heart of the trials. This is used to anchor the drama in historical reality rather than sensationalize it. That archival usage is one of the film's heavier stylistic choices. Nuremberg premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival and reportedly received a long-standing ovation, signaling a strong audience response at the festival. I have focused heavily on the performances. Russell Crowe's portrayal of Göring has been described as terrifyingly charismatic. It's a masterful performance from a fine actor. While Rami Malek's Kelley is great as a quietly intense counterpoint, some reviewers praise the film's urgency and relevance. Many see it as a cautionary tale about how charismatic leaders can manipulate institutions and public sentiment. I happen to agree with both assessments. However, not all reactions are uniformly glowing. A number of critics argue the film occasionally slides into theatrical showmanship and doesn't always fully reckon with the scale of the crimes it examines, preferring personal duel scenes over broader moral excavation. They are right, in a sense, but in film, it is very difficult to place the entire scale and morality of what happened in the aftermath of World War II. This should be left for documentaries or a series where these topics can be explored in detail. So, the early consensus is praise for acting and craft, with some debate about tone and depth. This is a difficult, mature film. It contains graphic historical footage, scenes of starvation, corpses, and other harrowing images tied to the Holocaust, and also depicts suicide and intense violence as part of the historical record. The film's rating listings and review notes warn it may be emotionally heavy for some viewers. The film draws from Jack L. High's nonfiction work about Kelley and his interactions with Göring. Vanderbilt reportedly spent years researching the story and the historical documents that framed the psychiatrist's controversial conclusions. While the film necessarily dramatizes private conversations and compresses events for cinematic pacing, I did note the filmmaker's care in representing the trial's procedures and the historical context of post-war justice. That said, as with any dramatization, expect some liberties to create tension and narrative clarity. If you want a deeper historical primer for your audience, mention the real Douglas Kelley, the actual Nuremberg trial transcripts, and El Hai's book as sources for viewers who want to research further. I point to Crowe and Malek as the film's engine. Crowe's performance as Göring is both magnetic and chilling. He leans into Göring's charm to make the historical figure dangerous because he's so believable as a person, not a caricature. Malek's Kelley is cerebral and internally conflicted, the sort of role that lets Malek show intensity without showboating. Michael Shannon's turn as the prosecuting force behind the trials is also cited as solid ballast, giving the legal battle weight beyond the interview scenes. For viewers who follow award season, expect this film to generate conversation around lead acting categories. As of now, the film has an early presence on aggregator sites, with mixed to positive critical scores. Metacritic lists a mid-range Metascore reflecting both strong reviews and more reserved takes, while festival reaction and some outlet reviews lean positive. Sony Pictures Classics has scheduled the wide US release for November 7th, 2025, and the runtime is reported to be around 148 minutes. So this is a long, deliberate movie that takes its time to lay out context and arguments. To sum up, Nuremberg is a star-driven, research-heavy dramatization of one of the 20th century's most consequential legal moments, anchored by powerful lead performances and a director who's clearly taken the subject seriously. It's generating early praise for acting and craft, and early debate about whether its theatrical choices always match the gravity of the history. If you're interested in legal history, psychological drama, or films that grapple with the legacy of fascism, this one is worth watching, but be prepared for difficult imagery and a running time that asks for your full attention. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this film. These actors were at the top of their game. That's our breakdown of Nuremberg for Hidden Source News. If you liked this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and tell us in the comments whether you want to had or pour to go see this movie and to know what you thought about it. This is Hidden Source News, and I'll see you with the next report.